What's up, my official boy lovers? I'm looking cute, looking clean, looking sexy. And of course, today we talking about Agatha episode 3 through many miles of tricks and trials. And of course, I'm joined with the lovely Miss Ebony Moonbeam. How you doing today, Queen?
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Ebony Moonbeam. You can find me at Ebony_Moonbeam on all social media platforms. I just woke up feeling energized and I'm ready to talk about Agatha All Along because just remember, people, I told y'all this show was good. It was going to be good. I told y'all it was going to be good. I'm queuing up all the clips of everybody, including Zelme, that said it did not look like it was going to be good.
I said I didn't know. Listen, I gave it credit.
That's a lie, and I'm gonna have the clip for you next episode, y'all,
Listen, I
because
said the
he's
first two
telling a lie.
episodes was solid. The first two was solid.
Before I'm talking about even before that, when we first saw the poster, you were like, I think, and then when you saw the first trailer, you were like, nah, I didn't like the trailer at all.
I didn't like the trailer.
You had a
It
no,
don't
you did
change.
not.
It don't
You're
change it.
lying. Either you were lying then or you're
No, I said
lying
I didn't
now.
like the trailer. I don't have to. I didn't like the trailer.
Oh, didn't. Oh, okay. I
Oh,
was like,
I
tell
don't.
me something because you're not telling the truth right now.
Listen, I like some of Sony's trailer, and all their movies suck. So I don't know what they mean. But I like all Sony can put together a great trailer for Venom, and I guarantee it's probably gonna be trash. But this is Agatha All Along
You
episode
are
3
not.
through many miles of tricks and trials. We're gonna start out with the episode because they are on the Witch's Road, Ebony, and they travel the Witch's Road. We find out that Mrs. Hart, as they all kind of figured, is not a witch. Like this woman has no witch abilities at all. She travels off the road and things like that, and then she got trapped in a little mud thing, and she like the first rule is don't travel off the road. Which this anybody who ever watched any type of fantasy know when there's a road and you stay on it,
You
do
stay
not
on that bit.
you don't go off the road. It's hard to go watch more movies.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
R.I.P.
So
Mrs. Hart.
no, stop. Don't. We ain't got to that yet. We ain't got to that yet. But
Well, we
so
don't
I'm
know who
glad
she
that
is though. We don't know who Mrs. Hart is.
we don't. We don't. And I think that we're gonna see her again. I don't think that's the end of Miss Hart, but we ain't got there yet. We're just on the Witch's Road. And so I came across a bunch of like Easter eggs. So I wanted to tell y'all what I got Easter egg wise for the Witch's Road. So this is the same Witch's Road that appears in like the 2015 Scarlet Witch in the comic book series, which like that's when Wanda Maximoff is walking the Witch's Road. And at the very beginning, it like appears like a magical forest. However, the landscape changes the further down Wanda walks. So this was like a nod to the 2015 Scarlet Witch comic on it continuously changing, and it says it's exactly how I pictured it. It suits you. It changes for the person, and it changes landscape the farther down you go. So keep that in mind, people.
Yeah. And so they continue down the road and they see a house. And of course, when you see a house, you have to go in the house along the witch's road. By the way, they had a lot of little Easter egg of stories of witches from Cat's Door that we'll get into later. But they had like all the little tropes of what happened in a witch's house when you go into it throughout the whole episode. They enter the house, and quickly Agatha realizes, hmm?
Sorry. We just gonna jump to the house. Like we're not gonna talk about the whole conversation that they had with
Twin,
team.
teen, yeah, let's just say twin, teen.
Like we just gonna skip over that because that's important information.
It is. I kind of felt like we talked, but we'll go over it. Again. He has the sigil. We find out it's a sigil over his mouth. Again, it's an M. It's a M again. And they like, we need to take care of that because I don't know what that is. What did you bring us, Agatha? Is that some like trick you have for us or something? Because we don't know why he's here, how he got here. He's not even part of the coven. He's just here.
You just hear.
And how
And
does he
he's only
know?
like 15 or 16 supposed to be at this time. It's some like insane teenage age.
And he does a lot of hints. Where are your parents? They're asleep. Which,
I missed that part.
yes, she said. They said, "Where are your parents?" And the teen said they are sleeping right now. And I'm like, "Oh, I can think of one person that's might be considered sleep.
Right.
Isn't
Sleep.
that something we talked about last week? So that's one thing he did say he when he was going over it. Because I was curious about when they said, "Where are your parents sleep?" And I'm like, good play on words.
Well,
Oh,
I thought that it was interesting as well because they asked Agatha if she was the person that put the glamour on him, and she's like, "No, it's a waste of time. Like that's kind of like a tired spell or whatever." And it's another reference to WandaVision, where she tells Wanda that she would fix her spell for her because it was flawed, her original spell because it was flawed and messy. And so it's that glamour is similar to what Wanda unintentionally did to the whole town. So I thought that I like that they're referencing WandaVision a lot because I think there are certain things that you kind of have to rewatch over and over again. It's kind of like watching Inception. Every time you watch it, you see something new that you didn't notice the first time. So I like that they're doing that because then I'm like, wow, that sounds familiar. And so yeah, yeah. But I'm side eyeing Teen. I want to know because they break down what the sigil is and what it's supposed to do and stuff. So
and
and
apparently
he's
two witches is specific.
two witches explained it.
No, they said two witches. It's a sigil of two witches,
Oh
not to a
yeah.
regular person. So a
Mm-hmm.
regular person, man, you could hear what he's saying, but the witches are not allowed to hear.
Nope.
Which I thought was very interesting. Why specifically witches can't hear what he's saying?
Yeah, I think that was one of the big like Easter eggs, the little things that they want you to pick up on because if he's a normal teenager that doesn't have magic of his own and stuff like that, why is he running around hiding from witches? Why can't he tell any of his personal information to witches? So I thought that that was good. It was
Teen was
good, and
very
you can
important
tell
in
that
this
he
video.
has no idea what's happening. So
Yeah, Teen is very important in this episode, by the way. He put out a lot of information and he reacted in certain ways to get that information. And which it's a part of this video that I heard a rumor about that we're gonna go over. But I'm gonna say that for the end so you can click off if you don't want to hear the rumor going around. And even if Ebony want to get off, she can too if she don't want to hear
no,
the
I'm
rumor.
not gonna get off.
Oh,
You know, I love a good theory,
uh,
and it's probably what I already came up with too. So let's see.
it was kind of people are saying something about a character we talked about last week, so we'll
Okay.
see about it. But they carry on to the house. They enter the house, and quickly Agatha notices something, which we hinted at. Did she really been on the road? She instantly knew they couldn't get out the house. The first thing she did was look at the door and like,
Damn.
yeah, that's a
It
trap.
seems like I should not have walked in here.
She looked at the glass. She looked out the window to see if any way to open the window. She did that like that. There ain't no way to open the window. The door gone. She even went in the kitchen, looked around like, yeah, we can't get out. Nobody else paying attention right now.
Yeah.
Mrs. Hart loved the kitchen, by the way. She said the kitchen is immaculate.
She said, "Bury me in the kitchen,"
Yes.
and I quote, "Bury me in this kitchen,"
By the way,
which
Mrs.
was
Hart.
also that whole thing was a nod to shows like Desperate Housewives and stuff like that. So
Gerald,
I
shout out to
thought
my
that
guy Gerald. He said, and why he want to be on the witch's road in terms of team. Yeah, why would he want to be there? He has a
that I'm
reason.
curious to know if he even knows the true reason why he wants to be there. Like if he's being drawn to it and so he feels like he knows, or if there's a specific reason and he's actually just keeping it a secret.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see if he knew too. But they get in the house and they instantly looks around and they realize something. Something's weird going on. They drink wine. Their faces puff up. Except Agatha, of course. She threw the wine. She throws the wine in the thing, which Teen notices, by the way. Teen like she just threw it.
No. The thing is, he doesn't notice at first. She doesn't. What trips me out is, you know how we talk about when you go back in, you don't realize sometimes in editing that they mess something up.
Yeah,
So in this episode, she tosses the wine. We all see her
yeah.
toss the wine in the plant. And then later on, as people's faces are blowing up, she's hiding her face halfway. So people still don't know. And then he notices a glass of wine on the counter and is like, Agatha didn't drink. That couldn't have been her wine because we watched her throw it out. But then she
Wait, but
takes
it
it and
did.
then she breaks it. I'm like,
Yeah, but we did see it pull back up, so maybe it just pulled back
no,
up.
no, she did that. The witch
Oh,
in there did that
oh, okay. Well, that's a mistake they made.
when they poured it the second time after she broke it. So it was just a mistake that they missed.
Yeah. So everybody's asking now what's going on. They asked Agatha because she's been on the road, and she said the road tests you. And each individual person, each individual witch, which is why they needed all four witches, which is they're missing a green witch, is important because they needed someone to pass these tests and somebody who knew things. In which this was kind of outside too, in which they said, "What if we don't have power?" He was like, "Which, as Teen said, witchcraft. You have to do it manually now,
Mm-hmm.
which is fine. You have to do it manually." So now they realize the test is for our own Miss Jennifer Kale, who is the potions expert. So now she needs to figure out a way to heal this issue they have. And right at the beginning, she doesn't know what it is. But then when the swollen face instantly go down, she realizes it's only one thing that can do it. It escapes my mind right now, and I don't have it written down, which I don't know why I didn't
He
write it.
said it was. She said it was because there's only one thing that would have that, but also dissipate that quickly. That means there's more that's going to start coming. And then they were asking Miss Hart because she was the first person to drink the wine. It was called something with an A.
I can't remember.
Ains something.
I thought I wrote it down, but I didn't know.
It does have an A in it. It's
Yeah.
like AE something, but I know what you're talking about. But even before they got into that, um, she also, I think she, not only did she, but you just said already that Teen played a big part in this episode. She warns Teen to not get too close to Agatha before this trial even starts, which is why he starts kind of looking at her sideways when the wine stuff happens because he was warned. And so you find out, that supposedly Agatha traded her child for the Darkhold and all types of stuff. So
With a character I said I'm excited to see, which I said in episode 2, which very much made me excited, Mephisto,
Mephisto.
the Marvel's devil. Not quite Satan, the devil of Marvel, though. They kind of intertwined them with a lot of different characters. But Mephisto is apparently here, as he is also going to be in Ironheart, which is very interesting to see how Ironheart has to do with the devil, but we'll see. Which also gives us a thing about supernatural. So apparently Mephisto is going to be an important villain throughout because, first off, he's like immortal, basically.
Yeah. Hmm.
So I'm looking forward to see what they are going to do with Mephisto. And I'm wondering if you watch comic book, Mephisto is big in Wanda having her kids. They're basically an embodiment of Mephisto.
Hmm.
So seeing Teen, we already talked about it last week. We think Teen is Billy. So Mephisto, Wanda, Billy, Agatha, it kind of fits together in the witch
And there
story.
were a lot of things this episode to add to the fan theory that this is Billy. There was so much, like little things mentioning, like him mentioning that a lot happened to him 13 years when he was 13 years old, which, if you know, in the episode 1 of Agatha All Along, the guy tells Agatha that she's been stuck in like the world that Wanda built for 3 years.
Years, yeah.
And right now, Teen is 16. So 3 years ago, he would have been 13 when everything that happened where Billy and everybody disappeared. So that plus a couple of other things that will happen later on down the line in this episode. I'll wait to the end though to tell y'all some of the things that I noticed because they may or may not be spoilers for you.
And each individual person, as we saw, as they go through the trial, trying to figure out the potions, she has to get a certain thing. We saw honey, which they named what was it? They said it was like the bugs urine or something.
It's it's something really gross. I'm trying to
Yeah,
remember.
like bugs urine,
It's like
but it's honey from
it's some type
bees.
of bacterium.
Yeah,
It's some type of bacterium that lives in that. So they were able to basically use the witchcraft to with like modern day things. So they needed petroleum, and so they had to try and find something with petroleum in it, and they had to
which
use
was,
what
by the way,
honey.
which was what's the name's her product had a lot of petroleum in it.
Her makeup product that's supposed to be vegan and all natural, and Agatha was like, "I'm about to call her bluff," and it was true, so it worked. They needed frankincense,
Yeah.
so like frankincense, honey,
A
eye
cauldron.
of a cauldron, eye of newt, petroleum, and I think maybe like one or two other things.
And a little suburban product that heats up your food for you that Billy just
Oh, a
randomly.
sous vide. But first
Yeah,
off, don't do suburban. People
yeah,
have sous vide machines.
yeah. I don't live behind a gate. I don't know.
That's cute. That's cute. I saw what you did there. Other people that don't live behind a gate but actually, know how to cook have at least seen or heard of a sous vide machine. But basically, they needed something to
It heat up the
heat
water,
up the water because their cauldron was a sink.
which I thought was hilarious. A cauldron is a sink. It's funny to me. It worked,
Hey, you got to make it do what it do.
and the and which it was interesting to me that they did this after is when they was getting all the products and all the things they needed for it. They all saw their biggest fear, which I thought would have came later, but it came with the potion expert. Because in my mind, I'm thinking it'll go with like the Green Witch or Agatha because of the type of witch, but instead it came with the potion witch, which I thought was very interesting.
Hmm.
But I get it though, because delirious tripping over the potion over the wine, so
Well,
it
because it
kind
was a curse too.
yeah.
So I think that we're gonna get little aspects of all of these things. I don't know if they're gonna look the same way and they're just going to extend it, or they're gonna be different versions of situations that have happened in each individual witch's life over a culmination of time. Like I don't know if we're gonna see more of what Agatha saw and what Hart saw and stuff like that, or what? Because we don't they don't openly express or show us the way they do with the other witches what Miss Hart saw. But what Miss Hart sees, like when she is calling and asking Wanda to save him or whatever, she's talking about, she's referencing um WandaVision actually, where she's begging Wanda to save Mr. Hart who's choking at the time and stuff. And so once again, all these little nods that go back and forth. I wonder how much, I'm curious to know if there's still some lingering effects from Wanda's initial spell, like playing a part as well.
It could be. I'm interested too. But there's also a riddle in there that they kind of just glossed over. And when they had the card, my age has value. I'm no fun alone. I mess with your mind. My tricks are well known. And then I'm like, oh, what's that riddle gonna be? And then we kind of never went over it again.
Yes, we did.
What
You
was it?
missed it. Right after they said that, Miss Hart turned around and was like, "Oh, wine, a bottle of wine." And
Huh.
then the protection witch, because I cannot remember her name to save my life. The protection witch was like, "Oh my gosh, you're so smart. 2 points
It's,
for
yeah,
Mrs. Hart." The riddle is wine.
Alice Wu Gulliver.
Yeah, the answer is wine, which
That
is
was
why once they drank the wine, then the curse took effect. That's their trial. That was the beginning of their trial. They needed to drink the wine.
kind of didn't give him a choice to drink the wine because they wouldn't get out the
You
house
really
with it.
didn't. You
Like,
really
hey, he
didn't.
gonna drink it because there's no knob on the door.
There's no exit sign to be like, you know what? I've got an end over my head. I do not want to walk the road. Can I leave now?
And
They're
then you
like,
hit the
nope.
glass like Agatha did, and all of a sudden you getting flooded. And I'm like, oh, I'm like, we got
Another Easter egg. I'll save it for later, though.
But we saw a bunch of like the things they saw that like put fear in them. Like we saw um Jennifer Kale again, important in this episode as the potion witch. We finally found the man who I would assume is maybe her husband or at the time. He took her power from her, and then he was very abusive. So that was her fear, seeing this man who took her power and was very verbally abusive to her. So that was her biggest fear. And I want to know if we see him again because how does this man take your power? How did he just
I
like
feel like we're gonna see him
yeah.
again.
We saw the divinity we saw the divinity witch, aka
Lilia.
Lilia, played by Patty LuPone. She's a great actress. But she
Jessica.
saw a lady who was old with a skeleton come behind her, which leads to a theory I think about later on. That I'm gonna go at the end. So, because that was a little more vague to me than the rest of them. But we will. I want to talk about something at the end that the rumor is going around because we did see a skeleton come behind an older lady.
I have a theory about it too, but I'll save it for at the end too.
Jennifer Kent also got by the same man was getting drowned. So that's when I say abusive. She was getting drowned. Alice Wu saw her mother, who felt from thousands of miles away that her mother was dying. Well, her grandmother at this point. Her mother was saying her grandmother was dying, so she couldn't live with it. So that traumatic incident happened. And of course, Agatha herself saw the rumor that they've been going around a baby, a baby carriage with the Darkhold in it. Which he said we don't know which one was the one that was dramatic for her, losing the Darkhold or losing the baby. Which was interesting. I liked it. I liked that they didn't make it obvious. Was she Ebony? Was she upset that it was the baby was gone and she sacrificed, or was she upset she lost the Darkhold?
You know, I didn't think that it was that she lost the dark hold. For a second there, I was like, is she potentially regretting
Yeah.
if she did indeed trade her child for the dark hold, like that kind of moment, like it's just finally being thrown in her face, especially since the rumors have been mentioned so frequently since the beginning of the show. But what made me wonder if it had more to do with the son was when Team was like, fine, if you're not going to drink the wine, I will. And then she stopped him. Like she was concerned about him. Like she kind of felt like this almost maternal instinct towards him. And so that's what makes me think that it may lean more towards the guilt of and the sadness or the pain from losing a child compared to losing the dark hole. But I could be wrong because Agatha got multiple personalities, in my opinion. So,
she does.
so it could go
And
either way.
I was wondering if Agatha think that might be her son. If maybe he can't speak to him because it's her son, and maybe he's linked to that and he found his way back. But
I
we
think
don't.
that's a theory that's rolling around too, that it could potentially be her son.
Yeah. Everything leads to Billy though.
Yeah.
Everything leads to Billy, which
And
it
to be honest, I think that's going to be a good selling point for this show where we are in a time where people are not huge fans these days of female leads or female driven stories. So I think that though it has Agatha as the lead, somehow still making Billy such an important part of the cast as well. I think it's going to bring in some of the naysayers to be like, oh, okay, it wasn't just like
even if
a
it's not
gender
no,
power play.
even not you do get that rare one that people like, and Wanda Maximoff is one of the rare female characters that people like. So if it leads to Billy leading to her, people gonna get excited
Right.
because she's an OP witch. That people
Yeah.
and she kind of crazy, and dudes like
Yeah,
crazy.
shit, not kind of crazy. She crazy.
And dudes,
And let's
dudes like
not like
crazy.
as much as I love Wanda, Wanda has been in her villain era on more than one occasion.
Listen, if you don't think she
So
crazy, she turned the whole town into a sitcom. I'm just saying, and that's without the dark
black
hole. You
and
can't.
white sitcom, like She didn't even give you full color to begin with, man.
Miss Sharon Davis became Mrs. Hart because Agatha said Pro Herb had to go out there every day and pretend to be this character in black and white, snipping. Hey, Herb, that poor black man. That poor black man next door. I ain't
Poor
struggling.
guy.
Herb, hey Herb, y'all
Hey,
miss.
Herbert.
Shout out to Herb. We probably won't see him no more. But
Maybe not, actually.
we do. It is some other people on here that's playing other people. We gonna get into that later. But they Mrs. Hart, aka Sharon Davis. I do want to make sure I know that name. Remember that name. Sharon
Karen
Davis.
Davis?
Sharon Davis.
Sharon Davis.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just didn't hear what you said.
Yeah. But she is passed out. She has reached the last level of the curse. She is passed out. And and for some reason they just said, hey, get each other witch's hair and put it in there and let's drink the potion to heal it. I'm like, y'all not gonna give it to Miss Hart.
No, but for real though, I low-key forgot about Miss Hart. I forgot that her ass had passed out on the couch and they had drug her into the kitchen. I had totally forgot about her. And I'm like, damn, why isn't it working? And they were like, oh, Mrs. Hart. I was like, oh shit, she is definitely back there, just
I'm like,
knocked out.
so y'all not gonna get her hair either? Y'all just gonna leave her on the couch?
And another thing, they never grabbed her hair.
They didn't. They just left.
They just ended up figuring out that they needed blood. They used everybody else. They used Teen's blood, and then they just gave it to her. So technically, it does not have her hair in it.
Which probably is the reason why.
So it shouldn't have worked. Mm-hmm.
So probably the reason why it shouldn't have, because technically she's not a witch apparently. But shout out to Teen for being underage.
Shout out to Teen.
Which is a crazy thing to say. Shout out to Teen for being underage. Thank you for being underage. Therefore, you can use your blood to put in the potion. Everybody
your ass couldn't drink.
Yeah. So everybody drunk the potion except, of course. Well, they did give it to me. They gave it.
They did give it to
Which
Miss Hart, but
confused
they
me
were
'cause I'm
running.
like, they didn't take.
Well, they were running out of time though, so it could have ended that way because they ran out of time. It could have ended that way because they didn't put her hair in the potion. It could have ended that way because she may or may not be a witch.
Shout out to the Hocus Pocus reference that came up when the oven just opened as a way out, and I'm like,
no, it wasn't. It wasn't a Hocus Pocus reference. It was Hansel and Gretel. It was Hansel and Gretel, where she talks about that she knew a witch that had been burned by her own oven.
She's like, I ain't getting in there.
Mm-hmm.
Lillian, it was Lillian.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, I'm not going in there. I didn't know a witch that had burned by her own oven. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, so well, if you know Hansel and Gretel, the witch in that was unalive because Gretel pushed her into the oven.
But this oven was a way out because the house was getting flooded. So they had to really get out really quick.
How the house was getting flooded, I don't know. Somehow the house is underwater, and that crack that Agatha put in the window when she was trying to get out randomly started leaking water midway through this story. That's what happened. But it's connected to the moon phases. Just saying.
So they escape. They slide down the oven. They all fall. And Agatha and everybody like, we all made it out alive. Except for Teen was like, except one didn't. And they were like, Sharon died. And the show ends with Agatha saying, who's Sharon?
Who is Sharon?
Who is Sharon? And everybody, who's Sharon? It's Mrs. Hart died. So
I liked how that ended because I wasn't sure if her dying made Agatha forget who she was altogether, or if there was something else going on. Like the fact that she said, who's Sharon? But she said it like she knows that that's her real name because she says it when she goes to recruit her.
She tells her that a lot, and she never does it. She don't care. She Mrs. Hart to me.
Yeah, but doesn't care. But there's a difference between knowing someone's name and not caring to use it, and then not knowing it at all.
I'm curious if that's something, or is it she literally don't care about this woman to the point she don't care what her name is.
either are plausible dealing with Agatha.
Like, listen, the
Either.
first the first time I met you, you were Mrs. Hart, because Agatha character would do something, would be so sadistic. Like this one, she literally just walked out there and said, "Hey, Mrs. Hart." He's like, "Why don't make me Mrs. Hart? I am Sharon." She like, "Okay, whatever. I need you in this house."
Yeah. You want to come to a party?
Yeah, so
No, I don't care about none of that. Come to the party. I'm gonna go get my pocketbook. All right, I'll see you over there.
and
Agatha's
now
crazy. I love her so
she
much.
she is absolutely. I love her character too. It's very funny. It was very funny in One Division too. It was like this bigger than life character who just runs around like this and just does the most like ridiculous, like how powerful I am. She even made like characters just like that. Her character, she pretended to be in one of
Hmm.
those like that. But the show ends with Sharon Davis, aka Mrs. Hart, played by Deborah Jo Rupp, being off the show, which saddens me because I love her. But it's effective because now they have to figure out something in the next episode because they don't have a Green Witch, and when they get that trial, what will they do? Even though that
What
would be
y'all
their
gonna
problem
do?
anyway. Even though anyway it would have been the same situation because I don't know what she would have did anyway. She don't know nothing about this. But what will they do? Is Team gonna figure it out for them or something? What will happen in the next episode? I'm looking forward to episode 4. Really, really good episode. Led to a lot of things I wanted. We've been wanting Mephisto. Shout out to New Rock Stars and Eric Voss. Me and him together, we've been riding the Mephisto train for 3 years. They mention him, so that means he's here. You can't deny when they mention his name. He's like Beetlejuice. You say his name, he has to show up to the left. But we only got it one time so far. Got to get through.
Yeah, but the fact that they put it in this show and it's a show about like witchcraft, so I think that
Yeah.
you know we're definitely gonna get him in this if we don't get him in anything else.
Yes. Well, he's the main villain in Armor Wars too. So I mean, not Ironheart, not Armor Wars. Ironheart. He's listed as the main. I don't know why they told us already. They told us already he's like the main. Even in the show, they kind of hinted that it's gonna be demonic things he found. Like, what does Ironheart have to do with Mephisto? I get Agatha and Billy and everybody dealing with it, but what is
Yeah,
Ironheart? By
I
the way,
don't get Ironheart.
I am so excited about Ironheart. That's the one. That's the one I'm very excited about.
Is there not a story with Ironheart and Mephisto?
Ironheart is very new.
That's what I thought. That's why I'm like, why Mephisto of all people?
Spider Man has done it, but I kind of get what they gonna do because it looks like some dude. I don't know how they gonna do it, but apparently the trailer also says she got kicked out of school. She need money. If you need something, who you go to? Mephisto. By the way, Peter Parker
Okay.
have amazing Mephisto stories, so he desperate.
Mm.
He made everybody forget he was Peter Parker. That's the original. Everybody forget Peter Parker. They just did it in another way in the other Spider-Man movie. No way, because the original way when everybody forgot he was Peter Parker, Mary Jane, they were no longer married. The kids don't exist no more. It's all thanks to Mephisto. But they just did it another way, which wasn't bad. I loved it. What are your thoughts on this episode? Like I said, I love this episode. Great episode. Top
What
notch.
are you
I'm
rating
excited.
it?
9. It was 8.5, but Mephisto reference. They said 9.
Um,
I'm not gonna.
I loved this episode. I thought it was good. I think it's progressively. It started off interesting for me, and I think it's progressively keeping me interested, which is what I want out of a show. Uh, the storyline, the banter, watching them actually perform a spell in a more hands-on way and stuff. I liked that they are digging deep into the horror and the creep factor, all of the spooky s things that they're doing with especially this episode. So I'm gonna give it a 9 too, because
I love witchcraft shows anyway, like that. Hocus
I
Pocus was one of
love, yeah, I love witchcraft. I love supernatural. I love horror. Anything that like encompasses those things are great. You give me a little comedy in it, cool, and they do it well. But then I see the story unfolding and I'm seeing these little Easter eggs, which anytime you get me to trying to come up with my own theory of what's happening and stuff like that, then I think you're doing a good job at invoking emotion and intellectual thought and deductive reasoning and imagination. So for me, all of those things, in particular the Easter eggs in this one, sent it to a 9 for me. I'm gonna definitely finish out this series because there's supposed to be how many episodes? 12 or 8?
I think it was. I don't want to make sure 9.
9.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cause I get it and Penguin confused, so I'm gonna make sure I say the right one. Cause I done looked at a lot of shows. I'm like, the Penguin has a certain amount in this one, which I will be doing a review on the Penguin soon. There was no
Right.
episode this week. It was I don't know why I hate when you do one episode skip a week. It's so weird.
Right.
It was September 19th and September 29th. I'm like, why you do? Well, tonight,
Mm.
but it did skip last week. But we'll get to it tonight. Anything you saw, any Easter eggs you want to bring out before I get to my spoiler, possibly spoiler thing I saw online that I didn't want to see, but they made me see it.
Yeah. I wrote down a bunch.
Let's go.
Okay. Where do I want to start?
Oh,
Okay.
but Herb name is John Collins in the show, but wanted to name him Herb, so everybody just call him Herb,
Oh, okay.
which I didn't
So
even know he was.
one of the things was that they when they first arrived to the house, that Lilia mentions that on the door it's like a bunch of moon phases, and Teen actually remarks that what she's seeing is specifically a water phase, and that's a little Easter egg because Billy Kaplan, which is Wanda's son, is also Wiccan and he can control water. So there's that. Also there was like this Easter egg about the fact that the color of water being blue, and blue is one of the colors that we haven't seen magically connected to a witch so far. And so it could, like, the blue could be for Billy, if he is indeed Billy, of course. What else? Oh, the everything with Lilia and her hallucination. It's supposed to be, or what it appears to be, like a reference to Agatha's brooch that she's always wearing, which is the triple goddess, the maiden, the mother, and the crone. And so if you go based off of that, and then you see a young maiden, you see an older woman, and then you see like the skeleton dressed similarly, which would be the maiden, the mother, and the crone. So
By the way, Agatha's mother is listed on this show.
I didn't know that.
Evanor is listed as a character on the show on IDMB.
Ooh, okay. Okay. Obviously, the Hansel and Gretel thing.
She's gonna be played by
And
Kate Forbes, by the way, which is interesting.
wow. Um, I think, is there any other ones that like
I
really,
could have
because
left that
we've
as a
mentioned
surprise
some of
though.
them. Um, mm, no, all the other ones I don't know if I want to say just yet.
I'm gonna give
I
y'all
may
10.
save them for next week.
Yeah, I'm gonna give y'all 10 seconds to get off here because this might be a possible spoiler. I do not know, but 10 seconds. If you can't count from 30 to 20, I know it didn't say 10. I didn't feel like changing it. You know what 10 seconds is. I'm even giving you more time now. But people are saying that the person that Aubrey Plaza is playing, which I can't get my head around, but this is like people are saying they are pretty sure that's who they playing after some leaks, is Mistress Death. And I'm like, I don't know how that fits, which is why I also said the skeleton coming behind somebody is also in a green robe too. But I'm like, I don't know how that fits in this story. But if you add Mistress Death to this, it gets crazy.
Give me more info on Mistress Death because I'm not very well versed with her.
She's not usually used. She's usually a person who just there to signify
Yeah.
death. When she dies in the cancer verse, I mean not in the zombie verse, no one can die, so they all turn to zombies.
Mm-hmm.
So they killed her in that verse, that universe. She is a very important being. She's not like elite, but she's right under the elites because there's only one of each elite. But she has multiple versions, so she's like right there on that level. She's usually typically used as for Thanos, so he can simp over and kill everybody. She's also the lover of Deadpool.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah. All right.
Thanos gave Deadpool a serum so he'd live forever and never see Mr. Death again. That's why Deadpool in the comic books is immortal.
Okay. I'd have to see it play out. I'm still kind of up in the air, and especially because we didn't get any of her this episode. It's I don't know what to expect from her and her character just yet. I think that right now they are leaving a lot up for interpretation until they're ready to make some really major reveals. Because there's already a lot of different storylines. Like we don't know who the Green Witch is. We don't know who Vidal's character is supposed to be. We don't know who Team is. Like there's so many things that are like unfolding right now. And let's not forget, we still don't fully know how any of these witches outside of Agatha got into the situation that they currently are in to where they need to walk the road. So
Oh, which they did. They gave a few hints, but that was cool because I did want. Like I said, I want to see what's the name's husband or whatever that guy was who took her power away. Because she said he taking
mhm.
my power away from me. I can't do this. When she was panicking, and Agatha told her, "Listen, I hated you, but I never messed with you because what you did was important." So we found out in that scene, we found out that guy who she saw took her powers away, and she felt like she worthless now. But Mrs. Death is also most of the time kidnapped by eternity to ruin Cosmos. The Beyonder killed her. She's a she's a cosmic being, but she like at the lower tier, but she's necessary because if she dies, people can't die no more. So the Beyonder also kills her, which leads to a secret war thing. But he revives her because he's like, listen, this is kind of stupid. If nobody died, it's kind of bad. So Beyonder actually realizing that in the show, in the comic book, which I think is hilarious. Like, yo, if she dies and nobody dies, kind of pointless. Like nobody goes to no other realm; they just stay where they are forever, and it's kind of stupid. She also like she get kidnapped by eternity. Thanos loves her. She's mostly just a side character for everybody else.
Yeah, that's why I didn't fully know a whole lot about her.
Eternity
Are
kidnapped.
they giving any more reason behind the internet giving any more reason behind why that may be her outside of
I don't know how they. Only thing I could think of possibly doing is Doctor Doom take the place of Beyonder and kills her, and then it leads to some sort of disruption and chaos. Because, like I said, Marvel doesn't have to play by the comic book rules. So if you kill Death,
right?
I'm pretty sure incursion's gonna happen or something. So, and the Beyonder does kill Death. So maybe Doctor Doom takes their place. But that's the only thing I can
Mm-hmm.
think, and that somehow links Agatha to Doctor Doom, which leads to Franklin Richards, which Secret Wars, which
Secret
that's
Wars.
the only thing I can think of that makes sense to why she would even be here. Because I'm like, Thanos gone. Deadpool got a girlfriend now. Eternity is
Uh,
used
the
one time.
struggle.
I'm like, why would you put her here just to put another cool character? I guess. Listen, I like her to be Morgan Le Fay.
I kind of want to see her be Morgan Le Fay as well.
I don't know what death has to do with anything. It's a cool character if she's deaf, but
Unless you
I,
can somehow unless it's like a way to something connected to Agatha and being able to manipulate death. That's the only thing, but
or
that's still hard. because they hate each other.
When you said that, I kind of thought about if if Wanda's really dead, and then Billy is made a deal with to get the Darkhold back.
Mephisto.
Mephisto make a deal to bring Billy and the kids back to life, but Wanda's dead now. So then death ends up at the end of the road, and Billy said, "Bring my mom back,"
Right.
which would be just a plot device for the show, and not which I'm like, dang, y'all just bring her here just to bring Wanda back after you
Right.
like she
After you did all of that.
like what else you gonna use her for? Unless, like I said, unless Doctor Doom kills her again, kills her. But then I'm like, oh, you just brung her for that? Aubrey Plaza should be here for like 3 or 4 shows at least.
I think I don't know, because like right now, you have to go to the road, and the people that are chasing Agatha aren't going to the road. So are we not gonna see any of the other characters like the Seven or
We could see Nicholas Scratch because he is sold to Mephisto apparently.
right? But we're still on the road right now.
Yeah,
If you're on the road, then you're doing the trial. So I'm curious to know how long they're gonna be on the road and when the next time we're gonna see Aubrey.
I think she'll be here rather quick. I feel like she's important to the show.
I feel
That's
like somehow she's gonna be tied into
she,
helping them on the road.
she appears on the road
Hmm.
in the trailer, so I'm
In the
assuming
trailer,
yes.
yeah, I
So
thought so.
she's in green. That's what we saw when we say she's in green. That's what we saw in green. So I'm assuming we see her. I want to know when we're gonna see Agatha's mom. Is it gonna be like a flashback, or is it gonna be she gonna be on the road? Very curious about that too. There's a lot of things I'm interested in. It's a lot they can do. Like I said, the rumor is Mrs. Death, which would be the disappointment to me because I don't know how she fits. And she's so like not used in the comic books. She has no story. Morgan Le Fay is literally one of the most powerful witches in the world, so she fits witch. She fits Mephisto. She fits that whole thing. She hates Agatha. It works. Mrs. Death has no connection to witches at all. Like not a comic. If y'all know a comic that she connect to witches, I can't find it. I ain't never read it, and I read a lot of comics. I've read a lot. I have never read that story. That must be one of the most abstract stories. 'Cause even with Morgan Le Fay, she could be part of the Midnight Suns in
She
that group.
good.
Like you have so many things Morgan Le Fay could do. Aubrey Plaza could be big part of this universe, but death has nothing to do with none of this. It's the way y'all. It's the same thing I had with problem with Thor when they made Eternity and then made her a one wish genie. made her made her a one wish genie who might be a little girl now. We don't know, but I'm like, okay,
Crazy.
okay. One of the most powerful being, meaning a being with absolute being, is just a one wish pony now, who we probably won't never see again for no reason. Like you can't show us
What a
a cosmic,
waste.
you
Yeah,
can't show
what a
us a
waste.
cosmic being anymore. That whole movie wasted some two important characters. You wasted
Yep.
Gore and Eternity. I'm like,
Gore, like,
when they made her,
don't get me started. We're not gonna get
yeah,
on Love
I'm like,
and Thunder. That's what we're not gonna do.
well, please don't do death like that. Aubrey Plaza could be something cool. Mrs. Death, I see no role but to die, which is crazy. Mrs. Death, the gold reelers and to die. Because I don't like, oh, you bringing Thanos back? You bringing
Oh my
Simp
god.
Thanos from another universe? Simp Thanos coming from another universe to date Aubrey Plaza. Is that what we doing? I don't know what the person. But we about to get out of here. I appreciate y'all for watching. Like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. I'm looking for that like and subscribe. Whatever other button y'all see when y'all see it, press it. Hype, whatever it's called. Ash. Ebony.
What's up? What's
Where
up?
can they find you?
You can find me at Ebony_Moonbeam or Ebony_Moonbeam cosplay on all social media platforms. I'm a cosplayer. I am 1/3 of the female blur led podcast, Waifu Views. That gives you everything fandom with a side of waifu. We do have an episode later this episode. We're talking about the first episode of Uzumaki from Juji Ito that dropped last night. So we'll be talking about that as we get ready to go into spooky season. where we have a lot of great themed episodes for you guys. And we're going to be doing cosplays and games and horror recommendations and spooky games, gaming streams, all of that. So be on the lookout for that. And you can also find me Wednesdays at the Blurred Cartel YouTube page for their roundtable episode at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And then right after that on Keep It 99, where you can find me on Casual Conversations doing my thing. So, yeah, that's everything, I think.
You can find me anywhere. It said overall 99 anime gaming everything. Right now is a discussion with Monray. Monray ain't even in the discussion, but they're arguing over uh the bleach powers and which one they would have. Still, it's going crazy. Shout out to that. You can find me on anything, Keep It 99 Zelmay, anything related to that. You can find me there. I appreciate y'all for watching. And I know it's a question y'all gonna ask that y'all not used to. And it's
These niggas.